Hey, what's up guys, this is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today we are going to be breaking down for you guys Shin Lim's performance on America's Got Talent. This is his final performance. Basically, if you haven't seen the actual video, be sure to go check that out before you come to the reveal. That way you guys have a sense of what he actually did. You can come back here and then I'll piece it together for you guys. So by the time you leave this video, you should have a general understanding of how it's done. Now keep in mind guys, this reveal should not influence anything. Shin Lim is an incredible magician. Everything he does is 90 to 100% skill based. The vast majority of his actual routine is sleight of hand, and all sleight of hand involves skill. And you know that can be applied to anyone on the show, whether it's a singer, whether it's some of the danger acts. All of it is just pure skill. It's not a secret. You know, some people are going to be able to figure out how different parts of the trick is done. Yes, but that doesn't take away from the skill and the practice that he actually put in. So keep that in mind. You know, it's very, very difficult. I'm not here claiming that I can do nearly any of that routine. If I went up there, I'm not saying that I can actually do what he did, but I'm telling you guys today what he did to get it done, right? So that's just what we do here. We're not telling you guys that we're better. Shin Lim is, in my opinion, probably the best magician in the world in terms of his skill, his sleight of hand, everything. It's all skill-based. So it's just an incredible illusion. So I just want you guys to know that first and foremost. But secondly, just getting into the giveaway, we do have a giveaway this month. Actually, we do giveaways every single month. For this month, we'll be giving away 10 decks of cards of your choice. If you do win, you will get to pick. You can actually pick Shin Lim's deck. He has the Regalia deck, so you can pick that if you wanted to. And then we're also going to be giving away 5 $10 Amazon gift cards. That's $50 of Amazon gift cards. If you guys want to enter, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you guys like about the video down in the comment section below, and make sure you guys turn on your post notifications. Now, we are nearing in on 140,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. We really do appreciate it. And one final note, we do want to thank Amazon. Thanks to Amazon, we have our very own link down in the description, amazon.com/shop/cardshuffler99. Basically, you guys can go on to that link, purchase anything you want from Amazon. We do have a list of product recommendations from our favorite decks, to some really good deals for playing cards, anything like that you guys can find on that page. But really, you guys can buy whatever you want. But that is that. And anyway, guys, let's get straight into this. Once again, be sure to watch the performance before you come here, and we'll break this down for you guys. Now, basically what he's going to start out on the piano. He's going to do a little bit of sleight of hand. He's going to talk a little bit about his past, which I think honestly is quite smart. You know, going into the final performance, you talk a little bit about your past. You set the stage a little bit for your actual routine. And then obviously he went back and he does this traditional close-up sleight of hand stage magic, right? So what he did was generally regarded as genius, right? I mean, you look at what he did and you say, look, I mean, he did something a little bit bigger, a little bit grander scale, something not just cards, right? He did some pretty cool magic for everyone to see, I guess you could say, and then eventually, obviously, he will resort back to his table, his cards, basically his forte, what he does best, right? So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to show what appears to be a deck of cards. Now, this is not a deck of cards. What he's going to have is 4 cards. Now, these cards are going to be the 9s. Now, in this case, I don't have the 9s, but I'm just going to show you guys the 4 cards. Now, what you're going to do is he's going to have a gimmick. Now, this is actually a gimmick that he would have used in his last act as well to make something seem like a deck. Now, the best analogy I guess I could give you guys is imagine a deck, something like this, okay, except it's just hollowed in, right? Meaning it's just a shell per se. So imagine you just have this entire thing except none of this inside here was filled in. You basically just have the edges and the top. So it's just a shell, right? And in terms of having the shell, the insides would be cut in, meaning once you press down on the shell, obviously it disappears. So what would happen is he would have the 4 9s inside the shell, and he would hold it just like so. Now, obviously, keep in mind, this is just a shell. So picture this as a shell. Imagine this wasn't actually a stack of cards. It's just a white border with a top on it, right? So imagine this was a shell. All the 9s were in the inside of this shell. All he has to do is then push down on the shell and basically make it seem like he's cutting down the deck. Now, that's exactly what he's doing. He did this in his last act as well. Now, this is also similar to another sort of thing that I guess magicians do, where they take a small portion of cards, they bend it something like this, they expand it like so, and then they hold it here just like that, and they make it seem like there's more cards in the deck than there really is, right? They aerate and then basically what you can do is once you start pressing down, you make it seem like it's disappearing, right? So what I mean by that, that's not actually what he did. I mean, you can't really do that with 4 cards. I mean, that'd be very, very difficult. But what he did use was a shell, okay? It's just a paper shell. And what he's going to do is going to be on top of the 4 nines. All he has to do is then push down on it to basically make the shell collapse. From there, he can flip it over, show the 4 cards, and then you'll notice what he does is he's actually going to ditch the evidence. You'll notice what he does, and this is what Shin Lim does for the majority of his stage acts, is he's going to ditch a lot of cards. Now, the way he does this is he's going to bring the cards to the edge of the table. He's going to drop whatever it is he has to drop onto the floor and brings his hands back. Now, this is something done in the offbeat, meaning this is where the trick is already done. Maybe the camera's focusing more on him, his facial expression, whatever he's doing, whatever he's saying. Most of the time, he's going to do this in the offbeat to the point where no one's actually going to notice it. I bet the majority of you guys watching that video, you probably didn't see him do that. Once you go back and watch the video again, you're going to say, oh, he obviously ditched it there. But that's because I'm telling you he did that. And that's another good point that I kind of want to bring up, right? And, you know, this is something that a lot of people talk about when they you know, comment on some of our videos about our reveals, you know, and they ask us, well, how are you able to put this together? And, you know, what we have, the simplest way we could put it is that we can't take too much credit for what we do. That's something that television and the internet has sort of brought us, right? Look back to Magic, say, and I know I'm going off track here, but, you know, look at Magic from many, many years ago, right, where you would have to go to a stage act, watch the trick live, and then you would have to basically go back and just imagine what happened, right? And you're only going to imagine the important parts, right? And that's what magicians do best, is that they're going to make sure that the minute details are the most important ones, right? So you're not going to remember the little things. Now, that's what Shin Lim is generally going to do, but what we're able to do now is obviously we're able to watch his trick back because it's recorded, and we're able to watch it back multiple times until we can figure it out, right? Like I said, the majority of you guys probably didn't see him ditching the cards, but once you go back, you're going to see it, and that, you know, basically helps you figure it out. Now, from there, the majority of his trick is very, very similar to what he does. Now, he's going to have Tyra select a card. Now, this is where it's sort of up to speculation whether or not he actually has enough nines for any situation that he would pick. Now, obviously, she did have a free selection. Now, what you will notice is that she selected the 9 of hearts, and what he's going to do is he's going to try to influence the 9 of hearts. Now, this is one way he could do it. The simplest way is he put the 9 of hearts on top, right? So the 9 of hearts is clearly visible there, and typically when people, especially, and I'm not saying this to be, you know, like to offend anyone, I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying a lot of times Tyra or Heidi or any of these judges, Mel B, will actually pick the hearts suit, right? They're going to pick the 9 of hearts, they're going to pick the Queen of hearts, Ace of hearts. Those are very common cards, right, to select. Now, obviously, she could have picked any 9, right? So, I mean, that's generally just up to her what card. So, in my opinion, you know, my general opinion, he would have done something to narrow it down to the 9 of hearts. Now, this could be similar to multiple outs if you don't know what that is, meaning that, let's say she had said 9 of spades. He would have done something with the 9 of spades, whether said, okay, we're going to eliminate the 9 of spades, or something like that, where he would get rid of those selections until he narrows it down to the selection he wants. That's called multiple outs, meaning he has a different solution for everything, as well as magician's choice, meaning he's going to narrow it down to exactly what he wants. Now, the simplest way of explaining magician's choice is being, let's say there were 2 cards. 2 cards, you just have the specter say, okay, which one do you want? Let's say they named the Ace of Diamonds. Let's say this was actually the card you wanted to use. You say, okay, we're going to use the Ace of Diamonds. But let's say they said the 2 of Hearts, for example. What you would say is, okay, we're going to get rid of the 2 of Hearts, right? That's just magician's choice. Basically, you're selecting. You're not telling them what you're going to do with it, but you're going to tell them to select one of 2, and then you go from there. So that's magician's choice, multiple outs. Something he could use. Now, the rest of the trick is very, very similar to what he does in the past. It's called the black art principle. Whenever he uses a black surface and he makes cards appear out of nowhere or disappear, what he's doing is he's basically just removing either a black cloth or something that's covering the cards. And you'll notice his hands are going to push backwards. Basically, what he's doing is he's removing a covering over the cards that blends in with the surface. It's called the black art principle, where essentially everything is just going to blend in, right? So once he moves the covering, it'll reveal the cards. To make cards disappear on the mat, he'll do something different where the back of the card is actually black. So once he flips it over, it disappears. And you'll notice he does this hand motion. He'll take a card, he'll just flip it over just like that. Next thing you know, the card's gone. All he did was flip the card over, and the back of the card is actually black. Now, in terms of the flying cards, I mean, that's just kind of self-explanatory. Something's holding the cards up. It's most likely just a string that's holding the cards up. You'll notice when they fall down, they don't actually even fall down all the way. It's probably just some sort of mechanism that's holding up the cards, and then obviously they'll drop every single one except for a few that will spell out the 9 of hearts. That's generally the entire trick, guys. I mean, the majority of his trick was the black art principle. It was a pretty short routine compared to his last one where he actually had many, many different tricks embedded. But honestly, sometimes less is more. So that is really it for this, guys. Once again, he did use a gimmick. And there is that last part where he held up the 6 of hearts, I believe, and he changed it to a 9 of hearts. That is a gimmick card. You can find that on magic shops. It's literally just a gimmick card where all you have to do is literally hold it there, and then the card will actually change itself. Do I know how it works? No. So if you want to buy the gimmick, you can go find that for yourself. But it is just a gimmick that you guys can buy online. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Anyway, guys, be sure to vote for Shin Lim and this card shuffler 99. Peace out, guys.